Okay, good afternoon, dear students. May we tackle on lesson 5, which is of course types of communication. Last meeting we have here the varieties of English, EFL, ESL, ENL. We have here the jargon, slang, and so forth. Okay, for this moment, we're going to tackle about the types of communication and the forms of communication. When we talk about the types of communication, this one is of course tackling on the number of people talking, okay? The number of people talking, and we have here four types of communication. The first type is intrapersonal communication. If we say intrapersonal communication, this one is a communication within oneself, one's own thoughts and feelings. This is the most important communication because, of course, it will help you enhance your decision making skills, your logical thinking skills, your critical thinking skills, and your rationality as a person. Okay. One good example of intrapersonal communication is your decision making. When you decide on what to buy for food, or when you decide what is your plan in the near future, you talking to yourself, that is intrapersonal communication. The second one type of communication is interpersonal communication. If we say interpersonal communication, this one is you talking to another person. The number of people talking here is two, okay? And your skills such as active listening, critical, leadership, patience, collaboration are enhanced. Why is it that these skills are enhanced? Because of course you need to consider the other person. You need to listen actively, you need to be keen, you need to be observant on the expressions also of that person. And you need to listen very carefully for you to analyze, reflect on what they are talking. Okay. Interpersonal communication, once again, are two people talking. That is the number. For intrapersonal communication, it is only you, yourself, and you. Okay. For number 3 class, if we talk about small group communication, this one is the number of people, 3 or more communicators. Okay. So, the process of this one is actually they are actively collaborating with each other, you are sharing your opinions, and of course, the same skills are being enhanced. Small group discussion, we have here, for example, meetings, faculty meeting, your club meetings, your collaboration with other groups. For this one, it will be 3 to 10 people or 12 people or 15 people as long as it is not a seminar or so forth. Okay? For number 4, public communication, this one is from one to many. Okay, one to many or from a small group discussion towards many people. Okay, we have here examples. We have here number 1 is public speaking events, conferences, seminars, press conferences, and so on. Newspaper editorials and billboard advertisements are forms of public communication. Mass media, newspapers, magazines, radio, TV are a powerful tool of public communication. Let's move with the forms of communication. If we say forms of communication, this one is how communication looks like. Okay. Number 1, of course, is oral, verbal. Number 2 is written. Number 3 is non-verbal communication. The first one, which is oral or verbal communication, the communication that occurs through word of the mouth, spoken words and conversations, okay? So this one, we have your dialogue, we have your right now, for example, this one, this act of communication is an oral or verbal communication. Whatever there is communication, as long as the mouth is speaking, that is under oral and verbal communication. The second one is written communication. It's either handwritten, typed, encoded, printed words, okay? So those ones are under written communication. Okay. And for example, for this written communication, we have here your notes, we have here the tarpaulin, we have here boxes that are printed with those logos and so forth. You have here books. We have here your notes on your notebook. Okay? And etc. Facebook, of course, Facebook also, and so forth. Okay. We may also say that visual is also with written communication, okay? We have your videos and so forth. That is under visual. The third form of communication is nonverbal communication. If we say nonverbal communication, all communications that tackle the emotional awareness, facial expression, eye contact, gestures, touch, appearance, and space. Let's first tackle about emotional awareness class in a form of communication under nonverbal communication. Why is it important for you to know the emotional state of a person? For you to know if what you're going to say or to share is appropriate to the person. What if you're talking about having your goals, but then the person you're talking to is broke? For example, they will not plan about financials matters if ever they are broke, right? Because of course, right now they are not feeling well. Okay. Why do we need to know the emotional awareness? For us to be enabled when it comes to accurately reading other people's emotions and feelings. Number two is it will create trust. Because of course you know how the person is feeling and you know their emotion right now and you know how to address and approach them. It will create trust. Okay. Number two class is facial expression. If we say facial expression, these are the expressions of our faces. It's either we're angry, it's either we are sad, we are emotionally buffered or what? Baffled. Okay. Angry, sad, all of those expressions in our faces. Number three class is this one. Okay. The eye movements or the oculesics. If we say oculesics, this is the study of eye behavior. Sometimes it is considered as a subset of kinesthetic communication. The most important aspect of oculesics is eye contact that opens communication channels, signals availability of interaction, listening, immediacy, and intimacy. All of those movement of your eyes or the eyes of your communication, it should be under oculesics, okay? You need to know the expression of your eyes. Why? And the eyes of that person you're communicating with. Because it will also signal you on what to talk, how to talk, when to talk, and why you need to talk. Okay? The fourth one is gestures. If we say gestures, this is a term that describes the use of the hands and other parts of the body for communicative purposes. The study of gesture has a long interdisciplinary history, drawing on social cultural theory, psychology, anthropology, linguistics, behavioral sciences, neurosciences, communication, performance studies and dance, and computer science. Gestures class, these ones are the hand movements, the bodily movements that you do, okay, as a whole. The fifth one is touch. There is a specific study for touch which is haptics. This is the communication, a branch of nonverbal communication that refers to the ways in which people and animals communicate and interact via the sense of touch. Sometimes a touch signals or tell us something, right? For example, a pat on the shoulder. That means to say, it's okay. Embrace. That means to say, I'm here, I'm comforting you. And of course, fist bump, which means to say you're friends with people. That nonverbal communication sends a communication to others, a message to others that you are friends. Okay, that's why touch is also important when it comes to communication. Because sometimes words cannot express, but bodily touch can express. For example, a hug, wherein if you are experiencing the death of a loved one, and of course, a hug can do communications, right? Next one, okay, we may also include in the touch. How about, mom, if you just bumped with other people? Is that considered as touch or communication? That is not intentional. It's not communication, okay? It means to say you are not careful. That's why you bumped with other people. Okay. The sixth one is appearance. Why is appearance important when it comes to communication? Yes, of course. Because first impression lasts. And if ever you are neat looking, good looking, you are very clean, then of course people will have a message that you are a person of responsibility. That's why appearance is important. Okay. Our choice of clothing, hairstyle, and other appearance factors are also considered a means of nonverbal communication. Okay. Your appearance, the color of your clothing, this one will send a message, okay, about you to other people. How neat is your hair? How good is your fashion is? It means to say if you are not good in fashion, tapos ikaw yung you don't really play with colors, it means to say that you're a person who is simple. Okay? It will send a message to other people on what to expect about you. That is the importance of appearances. Okay. Number 7 class is space. Proxemics. When it comes to proxemics, there are certain numbers or there are certain spaces to affirm about these spaces. Okay. Intimate space is 0 until 18 inches. Personal space is 19 inches to 3 feet. Social space is 4 to 11 feet and public space is 12 feet or more. Okay. Do you know, class, that when you use spaces, it will send a message and it will tell us if what is your relationship with other people. For example, for your seat arrangements, sometimes we tend to sit with the people or we sit beside a person who is close to us, right? So that will send a message that our spaces with other people tells us the level of relationship with them, how close we are with them. Okay, that's why space, when we talk about space also, class, we also consider how big is your table. Sometimes a boss or supervisor has a bigger table than that of the other faculty members, and that is considered a space. Okay, for example, in Japan class, they are minimalist, right? They favor or they like smaller spaces. But in America, they like bigger spaces. For example, in the office of an American person is big, and of course, it needed more space. But for the office spaces for the Japanese people, they are smaller. It means to say they are minimalistic people. That one is just example of space. Okay? And this one also will give balance. This one also will give message to other people on how good you are when it comes to space making. Number 8 class, which is this one, is chronemics. If we say chronemics, it came from the Greek. Actually, it is somewhat originated or adapted from the Greek god Kronos, and it is the study of time in verbal communication. Time perceptions include punctuality, willingness to wait, and inner actions. The use of time can affect lifestyles, daily agendas, speed of speech, movements, and how long people are willing to listen. It will also send a message on how you are good in your timing. Okay? That's why it's important for you to know how to use your time because it will send a message towards other people about you once again. Of course, for example, 7:30 is the flag ceremony. You came in at 8 o'clock. It will tell a message to other people that you are not respecting other people's time. That's why it's important for you to know exactly to use your time. Okay, so those ones are the types and forms of communication. Next meeting will be, of course, writing and reading tasks. And of course, once again, if you are to use your Facebook account, you need to change your profile pictures with a decent one. And if we are having our online classes, please join early. Okay? Those are just our important reminders. So that's it. And of course, thank you very much for this one. And I hope you have listened with our discussion. So you may now end this one. Thank you for joining.